I'm Dave Palumbo, founder of Species Nutrition. I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work and are backed by science. From my earliest bodybuilding days, I believed in only putting the best in my body. And that lives on in the Species Nutrition line of products. We use only top-of-the-line formulations dosed for maximum results and the best flavoring systems available. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution.
You're funny.
Like I said. Do you like my tail?
Welcome back to Iron Rage. I'm Dave Palumbo, and I'm joined, as always, by Lee Priest. Lee, I got to show you. You know what? Do you have that, Tyler? Do you have that commercial with the Lee Priest that was in it? I got to show you this commercial. We had a contest on the After Hours show for who could come up. Did you see it? Who could come up with the best?
That's for the cookie, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was who could come up with the best Mr. Potts cookie commercial, and one of the entries had a Lee Priest caricature in there. So I'm going to play the commercial for you so you can see it.
That's obviously the fucking winner then.
I don't think that one won, did it? No, it did, but it was a funny one though. Hold on.
Fucking rigged.
This is it. All right.
Fucking rigged. Who judged this? The IFTV? Well, this is fucking bullshit.
All right, here. Hold on. It's pretty funny. Listen to it. I'm gonna just be quiet. There we go.
I'm gonna share the screen.
Okay. Hold on. Tyler's gonna turn it on. There we go.
Get the Jumbo Palumbo cookie at MrPottsProtein.com. The guy who makes these cookies puts on a dragon suit whenever he bakes them. Have you ever seen something like that? The Jumbo Palumbo cookie is so good that Dave Palumbo broke off a piece of the cookie on his show and he held it up and he said, "This cookie is delicious," and he did not even put it in his mouth yet. Don't believe me? Just ask Greg. They have 50 grams of protein, so they're the perfect gift for a bodybuilder friends, like Lee Priest, for example. What is this, ya cunt? Dickhead. And they also have 1500 calories, perfect for bulking. Fuck Palumboism, fuck Lennyism, it is your time. Order about 100 of these cookies, fill up your gut, and make history. MrPottsProtein.com. Disclaimer, Steve Blackman does not approve of this message. I don't like them selling the cookies.
Well, that was, I must say, that was very nice of Vlad from Generation 9 to make a fucking commercial for you. What I got from that was, Greg was holding the cookies, I ate the cookie, then I jacked off. You got Palumboism from it. And then you competed with no legs with a black guy showing that the cookies aren't racist.
You missed it. That was Big Lenny I was competing with. Yeah, he was Lennyism and Palumboism.
What happened to the tan he got all of a sudden? That was pretty...
Lenny's a little too dark in that picture. Did you like the little Blackman ending too?
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Yeah. The guy, and it's funny because the guy doesn't really speak English that well, but it was pretty funny.
No, I didn't notice.
I thought it was funnier because he didn't speak English that well, you know.
I actually thought it was Vlad. He's trying to. He needs money to make those shit fucking documentaries.
Anyway, so that's
what's been happening over there? I can tell you what's been happening in America. Breaking news. Today, Donald Trump didn't wear a mask. Breaking news. Today, Donald Trump wore a mask.
That's right.
Breaking news. He didn't wear a mask. What the fuck's up with you Americans when all you worry about is if he's wearing a fucking mask or not?
Yeah, you know, the whole, I think the whole country is falling apart. I hope Romano's right. Romano thinks everything's going to go back to normal after the election, but I don't believe that, but he thinks it will.
Well, you got to keep the virus going until they get this vaccine, mate. We just can't get rid of the virus yet till we get a vaccine so we can make billions of dollars. But the whole look, he wore a mask. He was in hospital. We understand that. He's not in hospital. He doesn't need to wear a mask,
Right.
people. And then out come these fucking, I guess you call them lefty liberal actors, do you? The ones that keep going, he better not be president again, blah, blah, blah. he said he was going to do this, and in 4 years he hasn't done it. Well, newsflash, Robert De Niro and everybody else, you said you were going to leave the country, and guess what? You didn't fucking do it. So don't complain about a guy doing something he hasn't said when you didn't fucking do what you were going to say.
Yeah. I don't. You know what? I don't even know what to say anymore. To be honest with you, I wasn't a huge Trump for president supporter, but I feel like I actually support him more now. Especially, you got to support your president. In times of of economic crisis and.
But this is where the world sees it as funny, because if you go on YouTube, right? I actually remember when it happened, but I went and looked it up on YouTube again. Here we have Obama in front of Mount Rushmore, and the commentators on CNN and all these news stations. This is beautiful. This is very majestic. The president standing in front of Mount Rushmore. What a beautiful, patriotic, majestic thing this is. Trump stands in front of Mount Rushmore. How dare he stand in front of two slave owners? How racist can he be? I'm like, what the fuck? Do you see what you're actually saying here? Yeah. One president stands there and it's majestic. Yeah. Trump stands there. Now it's fucking racist. Yeah, and you wonder why the world thinks you're fucking nuts.
There's a propaganda machine against Trump to be reelected. It's pretty obvious. And you know what? That's why I've actually been supporting him now, because I think it's disgusting what's going on. And that's why I never voted. I always said that, both parties are just as corrupt, I always felt. And you know what?
And we all know in the long run, the president isn't in control of anything. He's just more like a fucking figurehead and shit. Right. Come on. And then if the other people got in, it's like those other memes you see where it puts up Pelosi and Biden or whatever. It says Trump's been in for 4 years. These people have been in for 25, 40 years, 50 years. What the fuck have you done? Nothing. So
well, you know what the problem is? The problem is that Trump is ruining all their. It's like he's like ruining the party. It's like the parent that comes home. The kids are throwing the party, and he's like, all right, what's this crap? He goes, get out of here. And he sends everyone home. That's like Trump. He's kind of like ruining their party. So.
Parents come home early. We're taking your toys away. Put the alcohol away. No more pocket money. You're all fucking screwed.
That's right.
But really, there needs to be, like in Australia, there needs to be a age gap, an age limit where some of these people seriously need to fucking retire, because
you're discriminating against the old people in this country, Lee Priest. Well, that's why you're in Australia. No,
I did find out. I'm going to have to accept that. I'll get called racist so much. I'm going to wear the badge. Okay, I'm racist because I put up that meme saying I support police. I just said I support police with the blue line. Yeah. You wouldn't believe the hate messages I got. You're fucking racist. How can you support the police? No, I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Unbelievable. All right, well, let's get to the topic of the show. The topic today is 212 class, open class. If you're a competitor, okay, and this is probably relevant to you when you would have been competing if you were competing in today's day and age, and maybe you will one day, but
I'm not relevant at all, Dave.
Yeah, you're always relevant. Your opinion might be, but here's the question: if you're a 212 guy, can you do the open? Which we know the answer to that is yes. And if you do the open, can you do it in the same show? If there's a show that has a 212 class and an open class, and they don't conflict with each other, like Tampa has a 212 one day and the next day they have an open class, should you be able to do both? And if you do qualify for both, whereas you win your class or whatever, you win the open or win the 212 and you qualify for the Olympia in both, should you be able to do both at the Olympia? Hadi Chupin last year at the 2019 Olympia qualified to do the open and the 212, and they made him pick one. Why is that? Do you feel that if you qualify in two different categories, you should be able to do it, Lee?
Yes. Next question.
No, I'm not letting you off the hook that easily. All right, let's take it. Now, Tampa's coming up in 3 weeks, Lee. All right, George Peterson is doing the 212. Now he's thinking about, I even suggested it, why not do the open? Because it's not going to be that many people. There's no European people able to come over and do the show. Maybe Peterson could place top 3 in the open, or maybe even win it. Who knows? Should he be allowed to do both? They're on separate days.
Yes, I think that if you're competed in an open class throughout the year and done an open show and you have qualified for the Mr. Olympia in the open and you've qualified for the 212, yes, you should be able to do both. And then I don't want to hear people say, yeah, but if they do both and they place in the open and the 212, they can win double the money. So I used to hear this when I went to the PDI, and then when I went to NABBA, people used to say, oh, Lee Priest is this, he's that, he's shit, this and that. Why is he doing NABBA after the IFBB? He's so good. But yet these people would talk shit about me, say how they could beat me. So if you can beat me and you think you're that good, why do you care if I'm doing this other class? So these people that say the 212 shouldn't do the open, why do you care? If you're that good and you can beat the 212 guy, don't worry about it. So
why do you think that they don't, at a pro show like the Tampa show, especially where they take place on separate days and they're not conflicting, why can't a 212 guy do the open class as well? Or why can't he even do classic if he could fit in there? I mean, I don't understand why they would make you choose one or the other.
Well, I think they should be able to. I don't know why you got to choose one or the other. I know some amateur shows here in Australia, you can do different classes. If you're,
Right.
on the day, you might be able to do a masters if you're over the age of your masters and your weight class and stuff like that. So if you're in shape and you're there, as long as, like you said, you're qualified. A 212 is only qualified and the 212 can't do it. But if you all throughout the year proved that you can qualify and open as well,
right,
why not? I think it'd make it exciting too to see a couple of 212s go into the open
Absolutely.
classes as well. As long as they're judged fairly, because I sometimes think when they are a 212 now, they think, okay, you're a 212 and you're doing the open. Sometimes they don't get as fairly judged, whereas before, when there was only one class when I was competing, they had to judge you fairly. But, I think that there's a few 212 guys that could easily do well in the open if given the chance to do both. And why not do both? It adds more excitement too. Could you imagine if you had a few of those 212 guys come into the open and mix it up a bit more? That'd be great.
Well, especially now that the lineup is in the Olympia is just not as stacked as it used to be. And now, ostensibly, we might not get some of these European people being able to come over to the United States to compete for the Olympia. I don't know what the deal is going to be in December, but I wouldn't mind seeing George Peterson in an open class on stage. I mean, he might not be the tallest guy there, but he certainly has a shitload of muscle. I mean, to compete in that class, I mean, his back might be better than every single pro out there right now. I mean, it's incredible. So,
I don't see a problem.
Yeah,
I don't see a problem, but whether the IFBB or them will come up with some cockamamie fucking excuse that, we can't do that. That's not fair. Who's not fair to? If you're good, you're good. You're
right,
do well.
exactly.
It's like if you can
It's
beat
more
a 212
excitement
guy,
for the fans, right?
It is, exactly. If you notice some 212 guys there, mix it up with some of the big guys, like when people used to love it when I was up there, because like I'd weigh in the low 200 sometimes.
Yeah.
I've mentioned it before. When I won San Francisco, I was 199 pounds. Cormier was second at 260. Dexter got third and stuff like that. But people thought I was 235 due to just the conditioning. So I think it'd be great. It'd be exciting to see some, the top. As long as you said, as long as they've qualified in the open, and you're there on the weekend. Jesus, it's like the show's on. You're in shape. Why can't you do it? It'd be like, it's a new thing. And listen, back in the 90s, if this had been done back in the 90s. Not with 212 because we didn't have 212, but back in the 90s, we could have had some female bodybuilders do the men's open back in the fucking day.
Let's not get carried away. But,
come on now, some of those women.
But hold on. In all seriousness, why can't we have a women's physique competitor do women's bodybuilding too? Now they're bringing back women's bodybuilding. I'm afraid they won't have enough good, high-quality competitors. Let the women's physique competitors cross over. If they want to qualify for a women's bodybuilding show during the regular season, why can't they do the Olympia in both the women's bodybuilding and women's physique? I don't see any problem with that. Do you?
No, I'm offended, Dave. I was being serious.
No, I know you were, but I was trying to be
and cause it's in Vegas too. Here's another idea. Why not get the strippers and the prostitutes to do the bikini class as well?
You know what?
What's the difference?
When bikini first came out, they probably could have done that, but now actually you have to be in shape. So I mean, I don't know if that's.
Come on now, you've seen some of those strippers in Vegas. Don't say you haven't. They're in shape.
Yes, the ones. The problem is the ones that are in shape in Vegas are really men. That's the problem. So.
Oh, how do you know? How do you know that?
Wink, 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 wink.
I don't get that close to the stage, Dave. Are your ping pong balls coming out of a pea shooter? No, but the thing is though, some of these bikini girls, even better still, some of these bikini girls should go to the strip clubs. They're making more money, girls, if you want to know on the side.
Wink, wink. Yeah, right after the Olympia, the night show. Rather than to go to the night show, you go to the real night show, right?
Uh-huh. Just make sure you take that oil off before you get on the pole. You might just go.
No, but Joe, I think it's if people who don't remember, the first 212 show is really a 210 show That's what the class
No,
limit used to be.
actually, it was a 202. Remember the very
No, they
first
went
one?
no. It was 210
Was it?
first. Then they went to 202.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh.
And I'm going to tell you, it was at the Dallas Europa show because Ed Parisa is the one who came up with. Well, he's one of the people who came up with the original idea. He held the first 210 show. Silvio Samuel won the 210 and the Open. I'm almost positive that was the first one, and he won both divisions. And after that, they made it. You had to do one or the other. They didn't want to.
Yeah. But when it went to Olympia the first time, it was a 202, wasn't it?
I think they dropped it down to 202 for the rest of the season or something like that.
Which was a weird number, isn't it? 202. Why don't
Yeah, I
just
don't
go
know what it
200?
was. Yeah, I don't know where they got that from. And that's when David Henry won that, and then they raised it.
That first year. The first year was it Dave won? Was that when what's his name from Brazil? He looked really good. He looked like he could have won it.
Correa, yeah, but Correa had trouble making that weight. He was killing himself to make 202, but then 212 obviously was a much more doable weight for a lot of these guys.
Again, 212. Why not just 210?
Because they already had 210. They didn't like that. I think they liked the twos balancing each other. Who knows? I don't even know.
I think
Lee, I came up with that. That was my.
We've scientifically worked this out, Dave, and 212 is better on catabolic to the muscle, so if they don't lose too much weight, they can keep their muscle size while staying full, Dave.
That's right.
210 just flattens them out. In the beginning, we originally wanted 212.75, which would have been the appropriate weight. But, if some of the guys didn't take a dump, they wouldn't make the weight class, so we couldn't do that.
I think that there should be, though, a new rule. I think that there should be an appeal to the top. Number one,
let me take
notes down. Yeah, take notes down. Number one, you should be able to do crossover in the IFBB Pro division.
Hold on. Number one, cross-dressing.
Cross-dressing.
Is that what you said?
Yes, cross-dressing, of course, yes.
Okay, yeah.
If you're a man and you want to do bikini, or that's fine. If you're a woman, you want to do the men's open, you're fine, yeah.
Bikini. I think some of the men...
Now, let me ask you a question. If a woman transitions into becoming a man, okay, but she doesn't take... You know how most women get the gynecomastia surgery? She keeps her boobs. Like, is it like... I don't know. Is it like pornographic for her to take her top off and compete? Like if she's technically transitioned to a guy, but she still has boobs. I don't know. Is that like...
I don't know, because the boobs themselves aren't erogenous. That's why they wear their little tassels on the nipple, Dave. It's the nipple. It's the nipple that's erogenous.
Ah. Right, I'm saying...
And I used to say this like, I think Joe Rogan said, but I was even saying it before him. That's why if I go places, because I'm going to show the shaft of my cock, but not the head. If you show the head, that's like erogenous. So, women wear their tops, have their boobies pushed out, but their nipples are still covered.
Yeah.
That's not rude. So what you do is you get this little clear plastic window on your jeans where you show side cock. You just don't show the head of your cock. As long as you show the shaft.
What about testicles? Are testicles erogenous?
Not really. They're just ugly. So you don't really want to see.
So you got to hide those. All right, hide those.
And we're talking bodybuilders, Dave. All you got to see is an empty sack. It's going to look like an old lady's handbag. It's going to look like a fucking elephant's fucking left ear. It's like there's nothing in it for fuck's sake. But I'm taking notes. What were we up to? Crossovers.
Penis side windows available. Now, so number one, I think crossover should be allowed. Number two,
definitely.
Number two, I think at the Olympia, if you qualify for both the Open and the 212, and any other class for that matter, Classic, you should be able to do all the divisions that you qualify for. Yes. You shouldn't have to pick.
No, I think, because like I said, or like you said, it shouldn't matter. If you're in shape, you're in shape, and it adds that level of excitement to the show, seeing someone from a different division in that thing. Like, could you imagine seeing some of the 212s if they qualified now in the Open would be great. Or even, as you said, maybe a classic person in another division. But, the women might be hard because it always comes down, like if you have the physique and the bodybuilders, they couldn't get it right back in the day because the women bodybuilders got bigger and bigger, and then they wanted to mark them down for getting big, but then they didn't. They kept rewarding the big guys. Right. So I heard Iris Kyle's making a comeback.
Yep. You know what it is? She never really stopped. She stopped competing because they took away the Miss Olympia. She said she wouldn't compete unless the Miss Olympia came back. Now the title's coming back this year. She's going to try to go for number 11. So,
Are there any because we've got women's physique now, are there any actually bodybuilders around?
I don't think
will we
so.
see maybe, or will we see maybe some of the physique girls just put on a bit more size to do the bodybuilding?
well, that's why I'm saying if I'm a physique girl and I see that, I know Jake Wood is going to put up a tremendous amount of money for the Olympia title, because look, that Phoenix Rising show, they give 50 grand cash and a $75,000 car. I mean, so what do you think he's going to give for the Olympia? I bet he gives you at least 100 grand. So if I'm a woman and I got a great physique, maybe I'll do a women's bodybuilding show during the year to qualify for the Olympia, so I can try to go for the title of Miss Olympia. But if I'm a physique girl and I'm really good, I want to do both if I'm qualified. So I don't see what the problem is. As long as you can qualify in both classes, you should be able to do both divisions. There's no reason not to allow people to. Why Hadi Chupin had to choose? Now, Hadi Chupin might have had a problem making weight in 212 when he decided I'm going to do open. That's a different story. If he can't make weight, then he can't do it, obviously. But if you can suck into that weight and make the 212 and then also do the open, you should be allowed to. That's the way I see it.
Can I just tell you, I had some horrible images when you just said, if I'm a woman and I'm a... Did you get it too, Tyler? Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Put it this way, I'm glad that you purged yourself. Now, if you, let's say
Lee... The woman just got to me.
Yeah, let's say Lee Priest makes a comeback next year, okay? Because your neck gets better, you get the surgery, whatever you got to do. And you decide to compete. And let's say you do a 212 show to test the waters out.
212, I had my eyes set on the wings of strength going for the fucking
There you go. You're going for the Olympia, women's Olympia, But let's say you do a 212, you win the 212. Okay, you qualify for the Olympia. Now, being the Lee Priest that you are, you're like, you know what? I'm bored of 212 already. I'm going to do an open show. So you do an open show and you win that. Okay, now you qualified for both the open and the 212.
Yes.
And you got to pick.
I've won both shows already on my comeback.
Thanks, you won both on your comeback already. Yes, it's a very successful comeback. Now the Olympia is coming up, and they're telling you, well, you got to choose, Lee. What show are you going to do? Are you going to do the 212 or are you going to do the open? And let me ask you this question: could you? If you decided to do the open, you'd probably be under 212 anyway, so you'd be able to make both. Wouldn't you want to do both classes?
I would want to, but if I had to choose one, it'd be hard because all I've ever known is the open. So doing the open wouldn't bother me. So it'd be hard to pick and choose which one to do. It's like the open would always be a challenge, I guess, because you're up against the bigger guys and stuff. But even if I was in my best shape and didn't place high in the open, I sometimes like the open anyway, because even placing lower in the open, you probably win more money than I would placing a few down in the 212. So
maybe, possibly.
If you're going at a money standpoint, you'd be better off doing the open and stuff. But it's hard to say, what you would do. But having to choose would be shit because you'd be caught between a rock and a hard place on which one. Because you think, if I had done the open this, or then if you do the open, you're like, oh shit, I could have won the 212. Or,
right. So
that's why my money's hopefully is on Flex to come in and win the Olympia, because I'd like to see someone go from winning the 212 that many times to being the first guy to do that and then win the open Mr. Olympia as well. So
he might do it just because of lack of participation, this year.
Yeah, even if there's guys there, I just feel as though he's got that 3D look. Bonac has that dense muscle, but to me, like I've said before, I just find Flex's physique looks better, and having not to come down, he'll be able to keep that fullness.
Yeah.
And we always know his conditioning's on point, so he won't have a problem there. So
he's a guy who lives and sleeps and immerses himself in the sport and makes himself the best that he can be, and that's you got to respect that about this guy. I mean, he's hardcore. He's got the talent and the genetics, but he's also got the work ethic. And he built himself a great gym in his house. So during this whole COVID place thing that's going on, and people can't train, he hasn't missed a beat. So this guy's going to have a jump and a head start on a lot of people. And I think he's going to shock a lot of people at the end of the year because of that, because he has this ability to not quit and not miss and never deviate from what his ultimate goal is. And I think that's the deadly combination when you have genetics combined with the will to do something. I mean, you had that when you were competing. You had better genetics than everyone, but you also had a very strong work ethic, and I think that's why you always, did very well. It wasn't like you were coasting on your potential.
It's called stupidity, Dave. There's a fine line between dedication and stupidity.
Yeah, well, I mean, but you know what? To be the best in anything, it might seem stupid to the outside population, but to the people who are immersed in that arena, in the bodybuilding world, we respect that, what you did. Yeah. Everyone else thinks you're a moron for doing that, but we like that for bodybuilders,
They are correct, Dave. I am a moron. as you can read when this video comes out in the comments below.
Think about the general public. They look at you and they see this cartoon guy with a tattoo on his face. They're like, "What the fuck is this guy doing? Is he serious?" Meanwhile, you're one of the most popular people in the whole bodybuilding world. So in your bodybuilding world, you're Brad Pitt. You're a superstar. In the regular world,
forget the bodybuilding way. Well, Dave, just in my own little world.
Yeah, in your own mind. Yeah, but in the regular world, they think you're a cuckoo bird. But that's the way it goes.
And they would be correct.
Yeah.
I'm the biggest fucking idiot out there. But you know what? I own it.
Like you said,
when you can be secure with yourself and know that you're a dumb cunt. That the world's a much better place. Just everyone repeat after me. I'm a dumb cunt. And then you just feel a lot better when you go on through life. But even, like you said, you're saying like if people went there, but even to me, like Flex if he does the Open, it'd be similar to when I used to do the Open when I was up against, Dorian and Nasser and Paul Dillette. I don't really see, even if like Kai was there or Phil Heath was there, I think Flex at his absolute best would still push them and be easy in the top three, I see, if,
especially because those guys are older now, and he still has that young, fresh, look to his physique. So, absolutely, I agree with you.
Yeah, I don't really see. I think Flex's main competition is going to be himself. If he's 100% on and the best he's looked and he's in condition, I reckon it's like he'll be one of the guys, as we say, it's his title to lose, because if he's on 100%, he's easily can win it. No problem.
That is a very, very big endorsement and a huge compliment coming from you, Lee. And I'm sure Flex will love hearing you say that, because you don't give compliments that often out to people like that.
No, I like Flex. I get on good with Flex. So, he's a fun guy. We always got on.
I'm not talking about personality. I'm saying you're giving him a professional endorsement.
Oh, yes.
And I think that's Flex, you don't say that. I don't hear you compliment many people's physique like that,
No, because they all suck apart from Flex. So. But have you ever heard this before? Because Flex and I, every time something comes up, I just sent him a thing not long ago. It would have been last week. Someone had a picture of Flex at 19, me at 17. Yeah. I'm like, fucking hell. I said, look, even in our teenagers, they're comparing us. I said, if we had $1 for every time, who would win, Lee or Flex?
I'll say this: you were a better teenager than he was, but he might be a better pro than you were.
Yeah, we just keep going on. He hasn't done good in the Open yet, Dave. So
that's true. All right, you're right. So far, you are ahead. You've won a pro show in the Open.
I'm the giant killer, Dave.
That's right. That's right. The original.
Flex is still hanging out with fucking the Seven Dwarfs. He's got to come up.
Also, you competed against Nasser and Dorian and those guys too, and Lavroni and Wheeler. So that's a whole different crew also that you had to compete against.
Oh yeah, I've always said, because people let's go, Lee, who would win? I said, you can't tell, because Flex has good body parts better than me, then I have some better body parts better than him. Yeah. I said all we know is it'd be a great show. It'd probably be one or two. I'd probably. With the universe conditioning, I had it there, because I never put emphasis on my glutes and that, whereas Flex and that did. So, his glutes and that from the rear, of course he'd beat me, but then there's other poses I'd beat him. But it'd be a great show. But even myself, I'd probably give the nod to Flex. And when I was at Olympia once, this was a few years back when he was still with Gaspari, I said, I'm making a comeback, Flex. He's like, oh, don't do it. I said, yeah, I'm going to do it. And Richard's like, yeah, do it. I said, yeah, I'm going to do it. He's like, no, it'd be great to compete against you. And I said, look, Flex, I've got nothing to lose. I said, I beat you. Everyone goes, wow, Lee beat Flex. I said, you beat me. I said, big deal. You beat an old man. Congratulations.
That's right. It's like Tyson fighting the current champion now. You can't even compare. It's not the same Tyson. All right, we're going to wrap this up. I got kids coming into the office now, and it's going to get chaotic here. Lee, thanks so much for your input. And don't do any cross-dressing without telling us, all right?
I know. I actually feel like this show was somewhat normal today. What's going on?
It was an actual analysis show, I think, but it was good. Look, it's a real concern because I think, you know, with the Tampa coming up and a lack of Olympia qualification spots, when you have someone like George Peterson, I think you have to really consider maybe changing the rules and allowing some of these guys to cross over. Guys, think about it.
I even took notes.
You even think that? Well, submit that to the main office at the IFBB. There you go. From this idiot to you guys out there, I'm Dave Palumbo with Lee Priest. We'll see you next week.